Stuck these blocks in here, see? And I want to make sure I cut through my stock. If I don't have these blocks in here, I could come in here and that bit could be cutting into my extrusion here, on my metal extrusion. So that's just kind of a little safety factor. Out here, you can see I just played it careful, but you consider another block out there. That's just a safety factor putting those in. All right, we got those cut. Now, what we're going to do is we'll take the other piece, turn around, and cut the dovetails on this side. And we're only going to be cutting how many dovetails? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll change bits and cut the dovetail joints. We got our dovetail bit in there set to right height. We're ready to start cutting the dovetails. Okay, now we're ready to take these out, put them together, and show you how they fit. And we got perfect alignment every time. You can see right there, we got our variably spaced dovetails lined up flush on the top, just a little bit going through that we can trim off. So that's a nice, easy way of making variably spaced dovetails. Not too many jigs allow you to do that. Now, if you notice, when I put these two pieces together, I had to hammer them pretty good. You know, I like my dovetails tight like that, snug. And some people don't like them that tight. Like some people like a little bit of clearance in there for the glue, which you don't want to starve a joint of the glue. If you want to make this joint looser, I'll show you how we're going to make this joint looser next. Okay, your through dovetails, I'm going to show you if you're hammering them together and they're too tight for you, if you want to loosen them up, all you do is you take the backer board, the 5/8 inch backer board, and what you want to do is shim that backer board out. So what I'm going to do is just loosen this up here a little bit, loosen the backer board, and you can see the backer board's coming apart. I'm going to take some sandpaper in here, right like this. I'm going to really exaggerate it for them. But some guys use playing cards or something a little bit stiffer. I think this is all I have handy in my shop here right now. But what we're doing is shimming that backer board out. Okay, now we'll snug it up. And I'm exaggerating this. My joint is going to be it should be a lot looser. I'm exaggerating this pretty big. Okay, so now we will take and put our front or back in here again, and we'll recut with the pattern bit. We'll see how that fits. Okay, now we'll try putting this joint together, and it should be a little bit looser. See how easy that went together? Even though you're variably spacing them. So if you want your joints a little bit looser, just shim that backboard, the 5/8 inch backboard, just shim it out and your joint will go a little bit looser for you. Okay, the next thing we're going to do with our Katy jig is we're going to take all the teeth off and we're going to put some black teeth in there, and those black teeth are going to create box joints for us. Okay, you can see what we're doing here is we're going to make a box joint. All of our tuning forks for the dovetail, we take off our jig. I have another jig assembled here. What we're doing is putting in the box joint teeth, and you can get those from us too. Now, you follow the same procedure, keep everything square, everything's aligned the same, the 1 and 3, the odd and the even, same thing. The only thing this time, we're only using one router bit, the pattern cutting bit, because there's no dovetails on this, but it's just another thing that our dovetail jig will do. I'm going to line up this side, and we're going to cut them both at the same time. It's a very simple joint to use, and it's very easy to accomplish. I'll show you how it works right here. On the one side of the jig, you can see that that pattern bit has to be made 2 passes. All right, but right there is your finger joint or your box joint. Right there. Very simple, easy to make, and it's also an attractive looking joint, but it's very simple and easy to do. Okay, the next joint we're going to do is this. We're going to take this box joint that we just did and a dovetail joint, and we're going to alternate them. And I call it our combination dovetail box joint. Okay, you can see how we got our jig set up now. We've got a dovetail tuning fork, a box joint, dovetail box, alternate them, and we're going to make that combination joint. So, again, you follow the same rules as far as setting the height of the bit and all that. 1 and 3, the numbers are all the same and everything. We're going to clamp this one into this side. And I'm just going to do one joint here. I'm not going to do a whole drawer. We'll clamp this one on this side. The sides are on this side, and the front and back are on this side, the 5/8. You know, you can keep all track of all that by your diagram. Okay, what we're going to be cutting first is the pattern bit. Well, you know the pattern bit is cut on this side because these are all even. We're going to go with the dovetail, but we're also going to use the pattern on the black. Okay, and we're going to use the pattern on all of them over here. So let's cut the pattern on this side first. And then we'll turn around and cut the pattern on just the black members. And there was only one black member there because the other two are going to be cut dovetails now. So we'll pull this out. That's done. We're going to leave that clamped in. All we have to do here now is change bits. I'll change bits, make sure it's the right height and everything, and we'll cut those 2 dovetails. Okay, we've got our dovetail bit in there now. We'll cut our 2 dovetail joints that we need to. We've only got 1 box and 2 dovetail, but if you're doing a wider drawer, of course, you can show this joint more. All right, we'll come and put these together now. Right, like this. And right there, if you want to see in there, what we've got there is a dovetail, a box, a dovetail, and we could have another box if we wanted to. So that's how easy it is to do the combination joint. Now, okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do something totally different with our K jig. We're going to take all the teeth off. I'm going to put 1 solid plate on there, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do half-blind dovetails. And I don't think anybody else has ever done a half-blind dovetail on the router table. We'll show you how we can do that with our Katy jig. Okay, you can see with our Katy jig, we're taking this half-blind plate that's optional, and we're going to attach that on the bottom of our jig instead of our tuning forks. And again, on your instructions, it's going to tell you how to number the drawer, just like we did before. It's also going to tell you how to number the jig. Now, when you number the jig, there's a few things that are a little bit different when you number the jig. The arrows point to the outside. You put, instead of the inside of the drawer going to the inside of the inside of the drawer goes to the outside of the jig. And also you set your stops up just a little bit different also. We've got our pattern bit set in there, okay, and we're ready to cut the front first, the front and the back of the drawer. So we'll stick this in our jig, and I'll show you how I like to do this, how to set the stops. I like to set the stops so that I'm even. I'm just going to clamp this down so you can see the bottom here. So that this portion here and this portion are approximately equal, you know. So get them as even so that your pins and tails match on top and bottom. Okay, we've got that lined in. We've got 2 against the odds, the evens against the even side. And we're ready to come in here and start cutting. Now what's doing here, you can see we've got kind of a mushroom shape here. That pattern bit is going to follow the shape of that template. And we'll show you how it works right here. What first thing I do is I'll take a cut going all the way across just to kind of clean it up, staying away from the teeth, and then I'll come in there and machine it all out. The reason this bit is different, it's a smaller diameter, is because we want that bit to get inside on these inside curves here. We got to follow the inside curve. All right. Okay, right there. You may think you have it all cut, but if you look real close, now you go back and clean it out really good and tight, because that next joint is going to fit perfect in there. So once you think you have it all, do it again. Okay, right there you can see how we have all that machined out, ready to accept the side of the drawer. Now I'll show you how we're going to set the height of our, I call it our organic bit, next to cut our sides to fit in here for our half blind. Okay, we've got our other bit in there. This is what I call the organic bit. And we got to set the height. It's very critical to set the height of this bit. And you want to set it so that there's a radius comes right down through here. See that radius right there? right down here at the bottom, that radius should flow right into the top of my jig right here. And you can see I have this bit set way too high. So I got to lower that bit down so that when this carbide comes right here, that bit flows right into the top of that piece of steel right there. So we're going to take this and move that bit down. Okay, we adjusted our bit height, and you can see that radius now goes right in the top of our fork. So we'll come into here now, and we're going to cut our organic shaped dovetails. Okay, it says the instructions, you always want to cut a practice one on here first. Always cut a practice joint, make sure you have this bit set right. And you can tell whether you got it set right or not simply by seeing if there's a radius, there's a good radius, or there's a little bit of a lip right there, a little bit of a bump. That might be just a little bit high, but I might be able to get by. Okay? We'll see. I didn't number my sides here. Just, okay, well. Right there, okay, and that is a beautiful looking, to me, half blind dovetail joint. Very strong. Now, people do this on the front of the drawers when they have no overlay on the front of the drawer. That's actually what you see. You pull it out, and it's a very attractive joint. Lined up flush here, lined up flush here. A little bit of overlap here, but I can sand that off with my flush trim bit. So that is a very popular way. Once you get doing dovetails, through dovetails, step up to the half blind, and it works great and makes some beautiful looking drawers. Okay, we'll come back and we'll summarize everything. Okay, you can see all the joints we created here today, from the regular through dovetail, which I have right here. Then we went to the variably spaced dovetail. Then we created our box joint, and then our combination box and through dovetail. And then along with my last one, the favorite, my half blind dovetail. You can see that this jig is very simple to use, very user friendly, and I know you're going to enjoy using it.